Hi everyone, we're talking personal space this week. I'd like to give you a little bit of a glimpse into my career up to now and how personal space has really played a big role when it comes to my working environment. I'm an occupational therapist and I started my career as a pediatric occupational therapist. So first off, I was sharing a space with other therapists, which for me as a sensory root, a sensory avoider, someone with low sensory thresholds, was not necessarily always an easy thing. You see, when my touch thresholds get into overload, my reaction is that I get anxious, irritated, overloaded, and then it's harder for me to calm down and to really be as productive as possible. I then got my own practice. I started my own practice and it was only me working from there. So that worked really, really well for me. In terms of personal space, I could arrange my office exactly the way that I wanted to, which usually meant that my desk would be where my back could be against the wall, where I'm facing the door where someone would come into my rooms, so that I'll have that pre-warning, if you can call it that. No surprises. I could see what was coming my way. So visually, I could override if my touch system would get into overload. Also, when it came to touch thresholds and breaks that I needed, it was easier working by myself to incorporate little 5-minute or 10-minute breaks in between clients, just to make sure that after working with, especially when working with children and it's physical work, that you really do get that break physically, just so that your touch system can be regulated again and that you can be calmer and more productive. After my journey with my offices at my home, I started working at a school. I've mentioned before that I was on the school bus in the mornings, and as you can imagine, for me that's a sensory root, a sensory avoider who doesn't cope well with too much input, and especially touch input. That played havoc on my sensory systems because I was very easily overloaded. Early in the morning I was already overloaded because I couldn't always get the same seat on the bus, which meant there was a lot of unpredictability. There were little kids on the bus, and even though I absolutely loved and adored them, it did mean that there would be someone sitting right next to you, brushing up against your skin. And even though that is absolutely fine for us sensory avoiders at times, when it's people that we know and when it's predictable, if it's unpredictable, you really do kind of get a fright, if I can call it that way. Your reaction really can be quite extreme. It could be a fight, fright, or flight reaction. For now, I'm not working with children anymore, even though, as I said, I absolutely loved it. With sensoryintelligence, we work with adults and adolescents, and I'm working from home. We're all home working, but for me as a sensory root, in terms of my personal space, that works really, really well for me. I have my own office, as you see every week. It's only me in my office. I have all the space in the world. And if there's someone that joins me in my office, there's enough space. I can seat my office according to how it suits my needs and my clients' needs, and it really works well for me. So next time when you think of personal space, keep in mind where you sit, keep in mind whether you're facing a wall or whether your back is against a wall, especially if you're not a touchy, huggy kind of person, if we can put it that way. But do also make sure that you do get that physical touch, because we all need it from those that you trust, those that you care for, and your loved ones. Keep well and see you next week. Bye-bye.